Hey guys, what's up? Jay here. Look, I know how overwhelming this game can be for new people at first. I get it. Hell, I've put almost 300 hours into this game and I still get outplayed and get made to look like a damn fool. This game is just so much different than anything else out. So naturally, to get any good at it, you have to dive head first into it and start playing. Survivors are gonna loop the ever-living shit out of you when you're new to playing killer. It's just a fact, it's gonna happen. And another fact is they're gonna be toxic as hell. You'll come across those ones that teabag and click their flashlights every time they drop a pallet.
Yeah, it is.
I'm more dominant at video games than you are. Pussy. So to minimize that and help out new killers, I'm going to attempt to point you in the right direction of what killer to play while you're still learning the fundamentals of the game. I've gone through every killer and I've picked 5 that I believe new players will have the most success with. And if you prefer playing Survivor, no fear. I actually made a video just like this for Survivors. I'll leave it in the description. But that Survivor video I made was more based around perks. You know, because Survivors are all basically reskins of each other. In this video, I'm not even going to factor in the killer's perks and add-ons. It's going to be all about the killer's unique powers and how easy they are to learn. And without further ado, sorry for this long-winded intro, let's get into it. At number 5, and probably the most challenging killer to play on this list, is the Wraith. The Wraith, otherwise known as Bing Bong, can cloak and make themselves almost completely invisible to sneak up on unsuspecting survivors. The Wraith has actually been buffed recently and behavior made him much faster while cloaked. His speed is 6.0 while cloaked, also known as 150%, which is super helpful for patrolling a large area. When you uncloak, it takes a total of 3 seconds, but once you're fully uncloaked, you get a speed boost for 1.25 seconds. This speed boost can quite literally be lethal once you get used to it. But getting used to that timing is the hardest thing about playing the Wraith. But believe me, play a couple matches and you'll be good. When you're ready to attack and uncloak, your character rings its bell and it's able to be heard for 24 meters. The Wraith is quite slow when uncloaked, so try to get as close as survivors as you can get before you uncloak. When you are cloaked, you are completely invisible to a survivor when outside of 20 meters. When you are inside of 20 meters, the survivors can see a faint outline of your body. If possible, try to stay behind tall walls or obstacles when you get close to survivors. The element of surprise, fast movement speed, and the short boost while uncloaking are the Wraith's biggest strengths. At number 4, I have the Doctor. I actually just did a video on my favorite build for the Doctor. If you would like to watch that, link will be in the description. The Doctor is very efficient at shutting down most loops in the game. His power Shock Therapy unleashes a ranged shock attack on the ground in front of the Doctor. This power makes survivors unable to do things like vault obstacles or drop pallets for 2.5 seconds. When timed right, like I said before, you can shut down most loops and end chases quite quickly. His other power, Static Blast, makes any survivor inside of his terror radius scream, revealing their location. This power has a 60-second cooldown, so I recommend either perk Whispers or Distressing to make sure you get the most out of this power. This killer also afflicts the survivors with something called Madness. Once the survivors reach Madness Tier 1, it causes them to scream, revealing their location. It also has a 33% chance to trigger a harder skill check. At Madness 2, the survivors also scream, revealing their location. They also experience hallucinations and they see an illusionary doctor. When this illusionary doctor pops up, you can actually see its aura, so you know there's a survivor close by. Also, while at Madness 2, it increases the odds of a difficult skill check to 66%. At Madness 3, this actually causes survivors to scream at random times, revealing their location to the doctor. And again, at Madness 3, they hallucinate and see an illusionary doctor. Also at Madness 3, survivors are unable to repair generators, heal, sabotage, search containers, or cleanse totems. At Madness 3, the survivors get an option to snap out of it. When attempting to snap out of it, they get a very difficult skill check. If they succeed, they go back to Madness 1, and if they fail, they scream. This madness meter is pretty awesome, and it increases anytime you use a shock therapy or a static blast on the survivor. Doctor is by far one of my favorite killers, and he's really fun to play. I recommend that everyone gives him a chance. At number 3 is the Cannibal, aka Leatherface, aka Bubba, aka Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, this guy. What the fuck? I know I said I wasn't going to talk about perks, but Bubba has barbecue and chili. Grind him and unlock that perk. You will not regret it. Now let's get on to his power. The Cannibal obviously has a chainsaw. You start off the trial with 3 charges. When you press and hold the power button, you perform a chainsaw dash for 2 seconds that can hit multiple targets. Survivors hit by a chainsaw dash are put into the dying state automatically. While doing a chainsaw dash, you can hit the power button again to consume another charge and extend the chainsaw dash. Charges for his chainsaw replenish when his chainsaw is not in use. So yeah, Bubba's chainsaw is pretty damn powerful once you get used to it. If you anticipate a survivor dropping a pallet, make sure to rev up your chainsaw because you can saw right through it. Just make sure not to hit any obstacles with your chainsaw because that enters you into something called a tantrum. By default, a tantrum is 5 seconds. While in tantrum, you can't walk, move, or do anything. You just stand there flailing your chainsaw like a fucking idiot. For every chainsaw charge you use, your tantrum is extended by 1 second. So if you use all 3 of your charges and you bump into a fucking door frame, you're stuck there for 8 seconds. It can be quite frustrating at first, but once you get used to it, he's not hard to navigate. He's much easier than Hillbilly in that aspect. At number 2, I have the Trapper. As far as killers go, Trapper is as basic as it gets. The Trapper has bear traps that you can place all around the map. At default, you start out with 1 bear trap, and there are 5 additional bear traps throughout the map. The Trapper can see the auras of these bear traps at all times. So go around, pick those bad boys up, and start setting your traps. To get the most value out of these traps, place them in common loop areas, places like windows or pallets. Just be careful because you can step in your own trap and it can be quite embarrassing. When a healthy survivor steps on a bear trap, it immobilizes them and puts them in the injured state. After some time, the survivors can escape from these, so the best thing to do is to go over and finish them off. The Trapper is far from one of the most powerful killers, but he's as beginner friendly as it gets. At number 1, I have the Nightmare, or Freddy Krueger. Freddy is by far one of the most hated killers to go against as Survivor. His powers are so easy to use, and to be honest, they're fucking overpowered. His first power I'm going to talk about is the Dream Snare. Press and hold the power button to place a Dream Snare on the ground in front of you. When survivors come in contact with a Dream Snare, they suffer from the hindered status effect. This slows them down when they come in contact with the Dream Snare. You can place down Dream Snares in under 1 second, so it's quite easy to shut down loops. The next power I'm going to talk about is the Dream Palette. To acquire this power, you must have the Garden Rake add-on. This add-on replaces your Dream Snares with Dream Pallets. This power allows you to place down fake pallets that don't stun or hinder the killer at all. To survivors, these look like just normal pallets. When a survivor interacts with one of these fake pallets, it breaks immediately and you can swing right through it. This add-on is actually pretty freaking overpowered, and I actually prefer Dream Pallets over the Dream Snares myself. The next power I'm going to talk about, by far the most powerful one, is called Dream Projection. This power allows Freddy to teleport to any generator on the map. I can't even express in words how powerful this is. Perks like Barbecue and Chili, Discordance, and Surveillance all complement this power so well. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Dream World. A successful basic attack on a survivor brings that survivor with you to the Dream World. While in the Dream World, survivors can no longer hear your terror radius. They can also see and be affected by any traps placed down by the nightmare. The last power of his I'm going to mention is Dream Demon. Dream Demon cloaks the nightmare from awake survivors, causing them to hear his terror radius, but only seeing him fully when he's within 16 meters and only intermittently from 16 to 32 meters. And that's all the powers for Freddy. He is by far the easiest killer to play in the game. And yeah, I can kinda understand why people hate going against him. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all for watching. I put a lot of time and thought into this one, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike, hit the dislike. I don't give a fuck. Thank you all for the recent support. The love you all have been showing is highly, highly appreciated. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.